invitation. I'm happy to chat with you today.
Well, after we did our talk at the Empowerment Tribe Collective 2020, I wanted to have you on, but life did a thing, and I hadn't had a chance. But this is a perfect opportunity. This has been
Definitely.
amazing. So before we go any further, let's do a little sharing. I'm going to go to my Facebook and just do some sharing to groups and pages, and anyone who wants to join me, come on in. This is a great moment to ask Amy some questions, to participate in a conversation about sobriety, about alcohol, about whatever the heck is going on with you and the various numbing out agents that we tend to want to be seeking out these days. So I'm just going to refresh my Facebook page, and we're going to share. Maybe even start a watch party. I'll start a watch party with my group. And there we go, which is so cool. Oh, shoot. There we go. And also, let me just share. You're doing some sharing too, I imagine.
Yep.
Thank you. I think we're going to be of great service to folk who need to have some sort of, I don't know, positive. This is what I'm doing here. I'm just trying to create some positive vibes at this moment in our crazy life. So here we go. Let me just do some posting to the Positive People Army and sharing to my group so that people can join us. Yeah, I mean, sobriety is an interesting thing these days, is it not? With all that's going on, what would you say, sort of as a beginning statement? Please let me know what your beginning statement is around all this time. What do you want to say? Just one big sentence right now.
I have a bunch of things to say. I have a bunch of things. I definitely have some thoughts around the fact that the LCBO is still considered essential
service. Right, that's what I was saying.
In the same way that grocery stores are.
I mean, I imagine
that's a little worrisome.
But I imagine it's probably what they need to do, given the fact that people deprived of their alcohol, it might get uglier. So maybe this is a good stopgap moment. I don't know. What do you think? Oh, you're frozen.
Yeah. Yours went out a little bit too.
Are you able to? Are you hearing me? Are you hearing me?
I'm hearing you now.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So yeah, even though LCBO is now considered an essential service, I'm thinking that it might have been a better thing for them to do it this way, because if they had just cut off the LCBO, it might have been mayhem. What do you think?
I mean, I'm of two minds. Right. So there is, of course, a small group of people who are physically dependent on alcohol.
Right.
So to cut their services off might actually be not great for their health.
Right.
But that's a very small group of people, right?
Right.
What worries me, I think, more about this is the fact that, one, LCBOs are open and continuing to serve. People are having alcohol delivered to their homes. And most people are home now with a lot of time on their hands. So instead of actually coping or dealing with probably the uncomfortable and stressful feelings that they're experiencing with all the uncertainty and all the unknown, they're numbing by drinking. And that's dangerous when you combine that with a highly addictive and highly toxic substance.
Right. And Claudia Penabueti says, let's see here. She says, in the US, it's available at the supermarket. Yeah. I mean, here too, I think, right? Here, some of the supermarkets have it.
Some of them, like the Loblaws near me, and Sobeys and all that kind of thing. So it's not great.
It's not ideal. It's definitely not ideal. Yet I think that, it's not a simple answer. I don't think there's a simple answer to this. Close all the LCBOs, close all the, close access to drugs and alcohol. I don't think that's a simple answer. I think that people are more than ever isolated and more than ever disoriented.
Agreed.
Their routines are gone. their way of life is gone. We have lost so much. And so there's so much grieving going on. And so that's why you're on here, Amy, because you're a sobriety and mindset coach, and people can be in touch with you to help them online, via phone. Doesn't have to, it's not live. It can be all virtual, to help them get, if they can't get to their meeting, since not everyone's into a 12-step meeting, not everyone, so there's alternatives.
Absolutely.
Isn't that right?
Absolutely, yeah. And even prior to this, all of my work was online anyway, because I didn't want to limit my scope to just people in my immediate vicinities. So I actually work with clients all around the world. So thank goodness for Zoom and technology that enables that. So yeah, I work with clients one-on-one. I also do group coaching. I do meditations online. I'm a certified meditation instructor as well. So there are lots of ways that I'm able to show up and serve for my community and people who are looking for extra support right now.
Right. And what about the concept of, people, are probably, some people are midway into their sobriety process, or they are deeply into their sobriety process, or they're just beginning their sobriety process, and then this thing hits. Can we start to tell, some of the things that I do are acknowledge the present moment, feel your feelings, journal, reach out, get support. Talk to me from your vantage point, what people need to be tapping into. Like, I want to start to compile a list of things that people need to, access as something that will help them,
Yeah, so it's interesting because I'm writing a piece. I think I mentioned this to you. I'm writing a piece right now on coping during COVID, and how we can
coping during COVID. That's a good title.
That's the title. Yeah, it'll be out later on today. But
very good. Make sure we put it on my platforms.
Yeah. And a lot of the things, like I'm looking at the article now, and reaching out, right? Connection is so important. I actually just did a post on Instagram a couple days ago with a quote from Johann Hari, and the quote is, addiction is the opposite of connection. Yes. And so connection is such an important piece for people, and reaching out is actually a proven tool of resilience. So reaching out is actually a way to build your resilience. So staying connected and using technology. So maybe that means scheduling regular phone calls or FaceTime dates with your friends and family. Zoom is a great option to get like a bigger group going. I've seen online dance parties. I've seen online karaoke parties. Yeah. There's lots of ways to get creative and actually stay connected with people. Like, isolation doesn't have to mean disconnection.
No, absolutely. Yeah, because it's physical distancing. Yeah. It's physical distancing, not social distancing, right?
Yeah.
That's right. That's important. When I started to do hashtag social distancing, flatten the fucking curve. Hashtag flatten the fucking curve. No, I got corrected, and I'm glad I did, because it's not about social distancing. It's about physical distancing.
Yeah.
That's all this is. And to really understand the difference, and to really differentiate. I get very concerned with people that are socially distancing at this time. I think it's dangerous, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I mean, humans need other people. That's how we're built. That's how we're built. And that's even more important, particularly when you're in the early stages of your sobriety, or even if you're a little bit further on, but maybe not as solid in your footing.
Yeah. Is there a way that people can connect in a group format that might not be 12-step? I'm a big fan of 12-step, but not everyone is a big fan of 12-step. And that's why I want to give options. Whatever your doorway is to living a healthy life, it may be 12-step, it may be non-12-step, it may be, it doesn't matter. However you do it is fine. There's no judgment at all. Oh, Alana Nugent says social distancing has been branded to break up the gathering of non-dominant culture. What does IMHO mean?
In my humble opinion.
Oh, okay, thank you. I needed your generation to please give me some.
And Alana Nugent is my bestie. Thank you for joining us, Alana.
Oh, thank you, Alana. I'm glad you did. In my humble opinion, I now I have been schooled, people. What do you think about that? What do you think about what Alana just said?
Yeah, I
mean, it's a big
she's
statement. Yeah,
it is a big statement, but I do think that she is bang on, right? Because gathering and like joining our collective powers together in like non-dominant cultures and in non-dominant communities has been such a powerful way to rise up. And now not being able to do that and not being able to connect in the same ways is bound to have an impact.
Although we are better at technology than maybe other people. You know?
We are now.
we can use it this way, you know.
Yeah.
So just describe non-dominant culture. I just want to hear exactly what that is exactly.
Any people of color, people with disabilities, TQIA plus community, really like anybody who's not at this point like a cis white man, able-bodied heterosexual man.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about addiction. Let's talk about addiction. Just the addiction. You know, some people define. I like what you said, which is addiction is the opposite to connection. I think Gabor Mate talks about that. I think, and also I talk about addiction as doing. You know it's bad for you. You know it destroys you, but you just have no way of stopping it. And you know it's not good for you. You're clear intellectually that this is harming you, but you just are not finding a way to stop it. What's your main definition of addiction?
Yeah. So I will offer that, but very quickly, I just wanted to circle back because you had asked about how people can gather outside of like 12-step or AA. So one, there's tons of AA meetings online. And also for women, there's a really great group called She Recovers. And it started, it started by a mom and a daughter in Victoria, BC. And they have done an amazing job at building community, but also providing online spaces.
So it's sherecovers.com?
I'm not sure, but if people Google She Recovers, they should be able to find it very easily.
I'm writing that down. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm just adding that.
So there's a Toronto-based group, and we do online meetings every Monday evening. And then She Recovers more broadly does meeting. And then also for folks who are not women, because that's all women identified, they can check out something called The Tempest. So they do sobriety school. Yep. They do sobriety school. They do a bunch of different programs and online gatherings. So that's more open to everybody.
Oh, for men and women.
Yeah.
Okay. I'd love to hear from anyone who is on a sobriety journey that want to pipe in. That would be great, because nothing like having people who are on the boots on the ground, that are really going. My good friend who's a coach in San Francisco, Lisa, says hello. Hi, Lisa. Love you. She's a coach. She's a mom. She's homeschooling. She herself is on an interesting journey. If you want to join us, Lisa, let us know and I'll just send you the link, because if you have time, I know you're busy, but if you have time, join us. I'm so glad that I have stopped drinking. Okay, so she basically has said, I'm so glad that I have stopped drinking. Okay.
Yeah.
Lisa, do you want to come on? I'm gonna send you the link right the heck now. So hang on. If she can, she will. That'll be fun, because you will love to meet her.
Awesome.
She's a very cool lady. I've known her since high school, and we have been connected.
Amazing.
Yeah, we have been connected for for years. So here we go. If you want to join us, Lisa, do. And then we can go there. Would love to jump on. Great. So she said would love to jump on. So that's great. It's always interesting when we speak from the coach's perspective, but I always love it. Oh, there's Lisa. Come on, Lisa. I can't see you. There we go. Hey. Oh, and here we go. You're coming on. Hey, love it. Always interesting.
Hi.
So lower your volume.
I gotta leave my volume down. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hold on. There. Oh no, but how do I do it?
Come on, Lisa. I can't see you.
You can't see me?
I can see you. Yeah, I can see you. And here we go. You're coming on. Hey.
Hi.
Lower your volume, honey. Lower your volume.
But then I can't hear you. If I lower my volume, I can't hear you. So I don't know what I did last time. Yeah. Oh yeah. Let me get my headset. Oh, here we go. Yeah, this is such a great topic. Thank you for doing it. I mean, it's such a thing right now, because every time we use alcohol as a buffer in regular life, and then all of a sudden everything is heightened, right? Our life is on steroids now. So we're more inclined to be doing that if that's our inclination. So I don't know. I'm always a bit challenged with alcohol. So I'm glad that I've actually, taking it out of my life a little bit right now and just taking it off the table.
Yeah.
I mean, Amy, meet Lisa. Lisa, meet Amy.
Hi, Lisa. Nice to meet you.
And Lisa Betts-Lacroix and I have known each other since high school, and she and I have had some interesting life experiences together. And I'm just so glad you're available, Lisa, to join us. Can you hear us, Lisa?
I'm so sorry, but I can't figure my headset out thing. I'll just figure it out. Thanks for inviting me on. I'm going to try to figure it out.
Okay, cool.
Listen quietly.
So Amy, let me ask you here. I'm going to silence her for a moment. I'm just going to mute her for a second. Amy, so there's various ways people can meet. Is there any way people can meet up in your mind? Maybe they're uncomfortable with a group, but do you have any tips for people who just want to, like, what's a constructive conversation about this to have among people? In other words, people like to bitch and moan, people like to complain, but what's a constructive thing that people can do to have a conversation about this?
To have a conversation about drinking, do you mean? About
drinking and their experience around drinking, and like, would you have it set up as a like a specific structured conversation, or is it okay to just have people have a conversation and be, just free flow conversation, as opposed to more structured conversation?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, at this point, like whatever feels good for people is where they should be going and what they should be doing.
Right.
I think it's helpful to let go of the shoulds right now. Anytime somebody is interested in challenging their relationship to drinking or thinking more critically about why they're engaging in those behaviors and what they're looking to alcohol to actually get or relieve, I think is an important conversation to be had. And that can be facilitated by somebody like me who is trained in this, or it can be had with a therapist. It can be had with a friend. I think really just starting those conversations is really important.
Two key questions, if you're not going to be accessing a therapist or a coach, that two people can converse about. What would be a critical question to ask each other in your mind? If they want to explore in this way, obviously. How are you feeling? Right. Okay. How are you doing in this moment? Right.
And be like really, really honest about that. Because I think we're all feeling a lot is the sense that I get. I know I am. But a lot of us aren't in touch with our feelings. And I think we are hardwired to escape discomfort and escape pain. And we will look to do whatever we can to distract ourselves or get us out of that moment. And so actually just sitting in it and identifying it, naming it and feeling it. So that you can actually be with it.
Yeah.
So I think how are you feeling is a great starting point.
Yeah, how are you feeling? I like the concept of name it, to claim it, to transform it. Because if we don't name it, we're in a nebulous, not forcing, but really encouraging the mind to focus in on what exactly am I feeling? Not a nebulous, oh, I'm discombobulated. What is the feeling really what's what are the fears? What's the
Yeah.
future worrying? What's the past regretting? What's, that kind of thing. Lisa, can you hear us now?
I can. Can you hear me?
Oh, yay.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Good stuff. What's been your experience? You said in your, I'm so glad to not be drinking. How's it going for you?
I'm so grateful for people like Amy who are doing the work they're doing, because
Yeah.
through a greater awareness, I think, in our culture, that we have this binary attitude towards alcohol, which is you're either an alcoholic or you're fine and no big deal, which has been the past. I think so many times for myself and many people, we just keep drinking and using it as a buffer and not realizing when we're doing it. But then when we actually get awareness of the fact that there's a big continuum in there, in terms of, we don't necessarily have to be an alcoholic. I think for many years I just drank because I thought, oh, I'm not an alcoholic. And I didn't realize all the ways that consciously that it was actually getting in the way of me being my best self. Even if it was subtle, even though I'm not an alcoholic, and even though it's not an issue like that, it really was getting in the way. When I came across people like Amy who are doing sobriety awareness and mindset thinking around alcohol and the way we use it to buffer, I realized how much it was getting in my way. And I suddenly was in choice around, I can take this out of my life and use all the energy and thinking and gripping and holding, the time I'm spending thinking about alcohol or not, suddenly I can use it for other things. And so that's been really powerful for me. So the other thing that I'd add to what you're exploring, Victoria, is the idea that in making the choice to either reduce or become more aware of how you're using alcohol, there's so much you can stand to gain in terms of energy for relationships, time for work, communication, like a connection with what's really going on that you can use in so many different ways. Like there's a lot you gain from it. And I think I always thought of it as, I'm going to lose. Oh my God, I'm going to lose my social interactions. I'm going to lose this relaxation tool. I'm going to lose this lovely habit, So that's been a big difference for me. Yeah.
Amy, go ahead. You can pipe. I can see you're nodding a lot. If you want to speak to Lisa, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I think I'll pick up with the first point that you started with, which is like not even a term that I use, because what that does, I think, is place the problem on the person as opposed to placing the problem on the substance, right? We don't call people heroin aholics or cocaine aholics, right? So anyway, so whether or not somebody struggles with alcohol or whether or not somebody struggles with addiction is very much on a spectrum, right? We can have very severe manifestations of that. We can have mild manifestations of that. And I think the questions we need to be asking are really pointing to what you're talking about, Lisa, which is like, does this serve my best life? Does this thing support me in showing up in the most powerful, highest version of myself?
Yeah.
Does this support loving, respectful, beautiful relationships and connections? Does this bolster my creativity? And if the answer to those things is no, then maybe it's something you might want to consider looking at a bit differently. And again, how do I feel in relation to this thing that I'm putting into my body that's changing how I feel and changing how I think?
What do you say to someone who says, I love it. I love it. It makes me a better person. It makes me, yet there's suffering. You can tell from the outside, you're looking in. I'm thinking about a few people, different people I have worked with in the past who clearly have an issue with addiction. But for them, their daily drinking is, not an issue in their mind. Obviously, there's a denial factor. But for them, it's like, I love it. It's like, and life is short. And, and anyways, it makes me a better communicator. It makes me a better this, and it makes me. I have had my thing about saying a variety of things about that, but I'm curious to how you handle it, Amy.
A couple things popped up for me. First of all, I mean, maybe they do love it. I mean, I love wine.
Yeah.
But it was killing me, and it was not serving my life at all. It was not serving me in any way. So I think that like you can like something and still not participate with it or in it.
There you go. Yeah.
And then the second thing, is, I mean, everybody, if people are looking to create change in their lives, it needs to come from them. So they might still be in a place where they're not ready, right, to create that change, to actually look at it with clear eyes, and like that's okay. They will get there when they get there, if they get there, if they want to get there.
There you go.
So I think the best thing you can do in that situation is just like maybe ask some questions coming from a place of curiosity, and digging into that without it being without there being any judgment infused in that, right? Like my job is not to tell everybody not to drink. That's not my goal. My goal is to change the narrative and change the way we think about that. And that comes through by changing conversations and changing behaviors from those changes in beliefs as well.
What's the narrative shift?
Well, I mean, right now, alcohol is the only drug where we need to explain why we don't use it as opposed to explaining why we do. It has become so infused and enmeshed in every aspect of our society. It's everywhere. And so I think the narrative is, one, that we don't need it. Two, that this thing is actually poison and it's killing us every single day as long as we engage in it. And three, everything that you're looking for in alcohol can actually be found in you as a sober person.
Yeah. Is there a moderation? I love that, Amy. I love everything you've just said. Hang on, Lise. Is there a place for moderate drinking in your mind?
I think it's a slippery slope, because whether or not, so I think like we didn't get to defining addiction, and I'll just offer it very quickly.
Good.
Which is what I use in my coaching practice, which is that addiction is any behavior we repeatedly or compulsively engage in to change our state or seek relief despite the negative consequences that go along with that. So that's sort of how I frame addiction. But I mean, it's a slippery slope, because when it comes to drinking, everybody is everyone is headed in the same direction, which is down, and it's just a matter of speed, right? Mm-hmm. So everybody eventually gets there. It's just a matter of how quickly. So mm-hmm. I'm not saying that I don't think people should ever drink ever again. I don't think that's realistic. And also, I don't know that that's necessary. Mm-hmm. But again, it's like, what are you hoping to get out of that experience? What are you hoping to get from adding alcohol to whatever it is that you're doing? Are you doing it because you're like, I enjoy the taste of this, and this goes really well with whatever it is that I'm eating, which is like so ironic, because drinking actually numbs your taste buds.
Yeah.
Which I actually started to taste food 3.5 years ago after getting sober, which is like incredible. But anyway, yeah. So I think a lot of it is about intention, right? And it's just like, what are we looking to get from this thing? What are we trying to feel? What are we trying to create by adding alcohol to this situation? And
which can be said for, I think, which can also be said for marijuana, that kind of thing. Sorry, you cut it.
Anything really that we turn to when we're looking to get outside of ourselves, or when we feel like we need to create.
Oh, Lisa.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes, I can.
Okay.
I actually have to jump off because I committed to doing a live myself. That I'm supposed to do at 11. But I just want to say I really, really appreciate the narrative changes that Amy just described. I think those were exactly the ones that I relate to. And so well said. I'm so glad you're doing the work. Such an important topic. Thank you for having it. Thank you for hosting. Thank you for raising awareness about all of those points around alcohol and changing the narrative. And how cool is this Be Live thing, Victoria? Thank you for bringing me on just to say hello and to have a little part in the conversation.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Before you end,
Yeah.
before you leave, Lisa, do you want to say anything as a sort of like, what do you do? What's happening with you right now? You're in lockdown in the Bay Area in San Francisco.
Yeah, I'm in lockdown in the Bay Area. I'm just about to jump on a live on my feed to talk about what it's like to have adult kids out in the world right now, and how, you know, how that's really challenging for us with college age kids and adult kids who we can't hold under our wing right now in these times of uncertainty. So I'm going to jump on my page and talk about that. And, you know, all of this is about health and how do we deal with uncertainty and all the ways that we're trying to keep ourselves like in control or deal with the fact that we don't have control. Right. So. Yeah.
Deal with the fact that we don't have any control right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's so true. Lisa, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
Have fun at your live. And
Thanks, Lisa.
Nice to meet you, Amy. Thanks for your work.
You too. Stay well.
If I can figure out how to get out of here.
I'll take you off, I think.
Okay, thanks.
Hey, Amy.
Hi.
That's so good. I'm so glad that she was able to come on, because she ascribes to exactly what you're talking about. So that's kind of perfect. What about the gene, the addiction gene? Not everyone has it. What's your thought on that?
Yeah. So here's what I think. I think that there are a lot of factors that go into increasing or decreasing someone's vulnerability or susceptibility to developing an addiction.
Right.
And some of that is genetic, some of that is epigenetics, but a lot of that is also, I mean, trauma. For pretty much everyone who develops an addiction, they have trauma, particularly childhood-based trauma, or you know, in their time of early development.
Right.
And then, of course, like early exposure to drugs and alcohol. If you had a parent or someone raising you who was using at the time of your upbringing, lack of connection and community support, like all of those factor into whether or not addiction is developed.
I think that there are certain people who are predisposed because of the conditions that they came up in, the trauma conditions, and you know, and certain people are addicted not just to not alcohol. It's something else. It could be gambling. It could be shopping. It could be you know, addiction to sugar, addiction to, I mean, sugar is one carbon molecule away from alcohol. So there's various ways that we will express our addictions. It isn't necessarily alcohol only. It can be a variety of things. And so I'm clear that this applies everywhere, ubiquitously.
It is, yeah. There are a lot of things within addiction very broadly that are applicable. Yeah, not just to booze.
Not just to booze, exactly. How did you come to your your come to Jesus moment? Maybe not your come to Jesus moment, but your moment that said, "Yeah, I can't do this anymore," or "I won't do this anymore."
Yeah. Well, I mean, a pretty significant part of my story, and you know this because I talked about this in January at the Empowered Tribe Collective event.
Yeah.
But my father also struggled really significantly with alcohol addiction. So I grew up in a home with a parent who drank very heavily, pretty much all the time. And about 5.5 years ago, he actually passed away as a result of that. And so,
as a result of alcohol.
So I lost a parent to an addiction that I also struggled with. And so it certainly wasn't immediate. In fact, my addiction got much worse after he passed. It was very unexpected. I had next to no coping skills. I didn't know how to deal with the very intense emotions that go along with losing a parent very suddenly.
Right.
And so I dove like head first into my drinking. And so I drank very, very, very heavily for about a year after his passing. And his death really served as a subconscious wake-up call for me in that I needed to create change in my life. Otherwise, this was an example of how my life could go.
Yeah, yeah. So you had a front row seat to the destruction.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's not pretty, as you can imagine.
No, no.
And yeah, so I realized and recognized that I needed to create change, and I had no idea how to do it. And so I tried to uh, get sober. I relapsed, I don't know how many times over the course of about a year. And during that time, I started to accumulate pieces of information here and there that would eventually support me in finding and sustaining sobriety.
What I really love about what you just said, Amy, is the notion that you relapsed and you got back on the horse, and then you relapsed and you got back on. And that's something I really want to have as a message out there. It's like, don't let a relapse be a thing that stops you from getting back on the horse. Get back on the horse. Keep trying. Keep trying. I think there's a statistic around the more you try, the better you're going to succeed at this. There's a very high relapse rate for people who are getting sober. What is the thing the people, I'm hearing it all the time in my practice and with people I'm speaking with. What are you hearing is the thing that's most driving people today emotionally? Like, I mean, obviously the situation, but is it fear? Is it despair? Is it grieving? Is it loneliness? Is it what's driving people these days in your phone calls?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm definitely hearing a lot of chatter around how the isolation is really becoming a problem for people, which is why the first thing I said early on in our conversation was how important connection is, and really like staying connected with people. So I think like the isolation and the loneliness. And I'm also hearing a lot of fear. Which is why, and like straight out of my article that will be coming out later, is why being able to infuse a little mindfulness into your lives is such a powerful tool. Being able to mind your mind and recognize that thoughts are just thoughts, and they only become meaningful or valuable in your life when you apply meaning to them, and you get to choose which ones you want to attach to. So I think, fear and loneliness are two biggies right now.
Yeah. Future worry.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
A lot of future worry. It's dry. A lot of future worry and a lot of, I would say almost like a lack of focus because there's so non-structured time.
Definitely.
So lots of no focus, and I feel like people need to focus. I gotta drink some more.
Yeah, definitely. And it's interesting because I'm seeing like such mixed reviews. Some people are like, use this time to like learn a new language or learn a new skill or whatever, and like be productive and all of that. And other people are like, sometimes the best thing you can or the only thing you can do is just like get away, and things are so heavy. So I think that there are ways to find a balance there. So maybe it looks like infusing some gentle stretching into your day, or getting out for a walk, or spending time reading. Or if you want to be productive, maybe you do 2 hours of work instead of 6 hours of work, or 8 hours of work.
So good.
I think there are ways that we can like add some routine to out it also feeling overwhelming.
I want to write down your website. Hang on a second. I'm having a cough attack all of a sudden. I find it very dry in our apartment. Yeah, it happens. Let me just do here your website. What is it?
Okay.
www.
HOLANDWELL.com.
Yeah. Okay, let me put that here. So people want to connect with you. They can go to hollandwell.com. You're there to support. You're there to motivate. You're there to listen. You are, and you're probably going to be very busy during this time, I would say, Amy.
Mm-hmm,
I think you're going
mm-hmm.
to be very busy. I think like I'm a therapist, you're a mindset and sobriety. I think we're going to be busy. People are just needing to not be alone during this time.
Yeah, agreed. And like you say, just like find a bit of structure, find a bit of guidance.
Yeah.
And I'm really trying, like, I don't know about you, but just again, with all the uncertainty of everything, I don't want to like be pushing my sales and like pushing my services, but instead showing up in a way to serve and showing up in a way to educate and offer tools to people. The moment and actually take things in.
Yeah, you're cutting out a little bit there. I think the internet connection might be interesting right now, but I will say to you this. Don't expect yourself, I'm talking to people out there, don't expect yourself to be perfect during this time. This is a time where you got to cut yourself some definite emotional slack. These are unprecedented moments in our life. I've never experienced this. All of us have never experienced this. So there is a real, be gentle and compassionate with yourself, everyone. Mm-hmm. There's no way around the mountain here, folks. You're going to have to go into the feelings because you're not escaping them. There is no escape. I mean, I was saying in my other live the other day, I was like, I have these escape thoughts about I'm going to sell everything and pack my bags and go to an island. Well, guess what? That island's closed too. You know, everything's closed, so there's no escaping. And therefore, the only thing we can do right now is ground ourselves, stay connected, and be kind and gentle with ourselves. Do you have some final thoughts, words that you want to really share with us all, Amy? Are you there? I know she's there.
I think I'll just pick on what you said, which is one, no wrong way to feel about what we're all experiencing right now. So just, don't judge your experience, just be with it, get curious about it, be present to what's actually happening.
Yeah.
Try to connect with people in whatever creative ways you can. Again, social distancing. We should reframe to physical distancing and try and find ways to stay connected, even though we are all physically apart. And definitely reach out to me if this feels applicable to you. Like if you are looking for support with your sobriety or you're looking to change your relationship to drinking, I'm here. I'm happy to chat. I'm happy to support. I have all kinds of resources on my website. So you're not alone, and you can do this. You can get through this without drinking.
Amy, do you host a support group at all, perchance?
I don't have a support group, but I do offer group coaching. My next program is starting April 1st.
There you go. Okay, good stuff. So jump on hollandwell.com, reach out to Amy. Just understand that you're not alone. No matter how much you might convince yourself you're alone, understand you are not alone. We are in this together in the most profound sense of the word, in this together. It gives me tears in my eyes how much we are all in this together as a globe. So
we're all connected.
Oh my gosh, we so are. Amy, thank you so much for joining me. Where is your article coming out? I know that Amy is writing an article about all of this stuff. Where is your article?
On my website. And you can also, and if folks want to sign up for my newsletter, I'll likely be shooting it out there in the next couple of days as well.
Amazing. And I just want to say to everybody
on my website.
On the website. Okay, good. I just want to say to everyone, I've also got a free Heal the inner child meditation. Come onto my website and sign up for that, and I'll send that over to you as well. That's a free gift to me, from me to you with love, okay? And Amy, stay well. Let's do this again, okay? Let's definitely do this again. I appreciate this so much. You've been awesome. You have been so, so good. The connection was a little bit wonky, but I know that you're hearing me. Just let's do this again. Okay, everybody. I just want everybody to continue to stay healthy and well and courageous, and keep having really good conversations with yourself in the most honest possible of ways. All right? Blessings, everyone.